and fulfilling their constitutional duty to ratify the presidential election results, Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, the Proud Boys, and the Oath Keepers once again tried to disenfranchise African American voters by not having the election results certified. This coup attempt was a coordinated, months-long attempt to destroy democracy, block the results of a fair and democratic election, and prevent the peaceful transfer of power. We are representing Congressman Thompson and the other members of Congress may be bringing this lawsuit, additionally, to ensure that Donald Trump and his extremist allies are punished and that others are deterred from undertaking actions in the future. With this lawsuit, we seek to demonstrate that no one is above the law and to show that we will remain in this fight to protect the right to vote and make sure that the American people know that our democracy is strong and cannot be undermined. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette, Interim General Counsel for the NAACP. At this time, I'll now turn it over to Joseph Sellers. He is a partner and co-counsel for Cohen, Milstein, Sellers, and Toll. Joseph Sellers, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. I thought I would speak a little bit in more detail about the nature of the lawsuit. The suit is brought on behalf by Congressman Thompson, and as you've heard, it names former President Trump in his personal capacity, Rudolph Giuliani, the Proud Boys, and the Oath Keepers. They are among the principal architects of the events that caused the insurrection on January 6th and the events that led up to it. The suit relies on a section of a statute enacted right after the Civil War that was known at the time as the Ku Klux Klan Act. It's found at 42 U.S.C. section 1985 subsection 1, and it prohibits people such as the defendants here from engaging in a conspiracy to attempt to prevent members of Congress and other federal officials through their use of violence, intimidation, or threats from discharging their official responsibilities as the Congress was charged with doing on January 6th. And so this is a statute which, at the time it was enacted, was intended to protect members of Congress who were from the southern states attempting to participate in the reunited National Congress after the Civil War, and who were threatened by groups like the Ku Klux Klan. And unfortunately, we are again needing to invoke the same statute to ensure protections of members of Congress who were threatened and subject to intimidation. And as you heard Congressman Thompson speak about, suffered real harm during the course of the insurrection and other events that gave rise to it. Let me say one more thing about this, and that is, some have asked whether this is an attempt to relitigate the impeachment trial. And I would say that the answer is no. There are undoubtedly aspects of this suit which overlap with features of the evidence that was presented during the impeachment trial. But the impeachment trial, of course, was intended to hold former President Trump accountable for failing to honor his oath of office by inciting an insurrection. This suit is designed to hold those defendants accountable for conspiring to interfere with the members of Congress, and particularly Congressman Thompson's ability to discharge his duties, oversee the ratification of the results of the election. The impeachment trial was, of course, a political process, and we believe the results were the result of a political process. This suit is being filed in a court of law where the rule of law will apply, and we look forward to proceeding with it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sellers, for your remarks there. We're now going to open the floor up for a few questions from many of our media members who may have additional inquiries for our panelists. We know the story has certainly been circulating all throughout the day itself, but if you have any additional questions, we're happy to take a few while we have this esteemed group of panelists. I believe we do have one question from Jessica Schneider from CNN. Jessica, if you're available, you can come off and ask your question to the panelists.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Oh, good. Okay, I wasn't sure. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for briefing us and, imparting your wisdom here. So my first, I do have two quick questions. The lawsuit, it alleges that Trump delayed his speech to really allow time for the Proud Boys to get to the Capitol. That's an interesting claim that I hadn't seen before. So I'm wondering, will you be able to provide direct evidence of that? I really hadn't seen any media reports on it, so I'm wondering where that's coming from. And then secondly, what's the estimate of the timeline? How quickly could this all happen in terms of discovery, depositions, and are you concerned about a motion to dismiss that could get granted?
Why don't I take those issues? So the answer to your question is, of course, we anticipate there will be a motion to dismiss. As to the timeline, there is we expect there will be some period of time which the defendants will each have lawyers enter their appearance on their behalf, and it'll be a couple months probably before any kind of motion of that sort may be filed. We have every confidence that in the legal foundation of the case and believe that such a motion will eventually be denied, after which the case would proceed to civil discovery, in which we can undertake some fact gathering about various things such as the electronic communications between some of these defendants and other ways in which they've communicated with each other, and ultimately to support what we think already is a very robust record of this conspiracy to interfere with the ability of members of Congress to discharge their lawful duties. On the question you posed about the evidence of President Trump delaying his remarks, we'll have to get back to you with the particular reference. It's a reference that we have from some public reporting. I don't have it at my fingertips, but I'm sure if somebody can follow up with you afterwards, we can provide you with the source of the information on which we relied.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Are there any other questions, or we still have the panelists available? If not, we certainly appreciate you all joining us for this very important conversation. If you have any additional questions or inquiries for any of our esteemed panelists, you're happy to reach us at NAACP.org to follow for any additional media inquiries, and we'll be sure to update you and keep you apprised as this lawsuit continues to move forward. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon, and have a great afternoon.